The Australian company in charge of manufacturing the Oxford vaccine. Now, he says if we were to rely on that to pull us out, well, that would be a mistake, that Australians simply need to learn to live with the coronavirus. Now, this also particularly comes after UK researchers work to try and understand why one test participant had an adverse reaction through those trials. Now, the AMA, they've just said that we should not be put back by this.
There's been too much focus on one vaccine because at the moment there are a lot of candidate vaccines. They're still quite early in their development. I think there's a long way to go, and what the government is trying to do at the moment, which is correct, is try to hedge their bets for as many of these as possible, because we're hoping that at least one of these comes through for us at some stage. But there is that small chance that it may not. I mean, there has never been a coronavirus vaccine actually successfully created.
The Federal Health Minister, Greg Hunt, he says that there should be no delay in the timeline the federal government have put out for this vaccine.
They haven't changed the timeframes for any of their deliveries for Australia. First quarter of next year remains the target and the expected and contracted date. It could be as early as January and February for the first vaccines. And so those are unchanged. But most importantly, it's about safety.
Meanwhile, here in Victoria, there are calls to drop this curfew that is in place over Melbourne after it was revealed by the Chief Health Officer yesterday that he actually didn't provide medical advice for it. The Premier, Daniel Andrews, also saying that, well, actually it was a captain's call that made it come in. Now, this curfew has been in place since the start of August. In that time, it's actually raked in $1.3 million in fines. The state opposition, one of the many growing calls for it to be dropped.
But what we've seen today is that Brett Sutton doesn't understand the breadth of his own powers. And Daniel Andrews has said he's the one who signed off on the curfew. That's not his job. It's not part of his remit, and he doesn't have the power to do that. This is a dog's breakfast, and Victorians are paying an enormous price as a result.
Should correct myself there, Peter. It was rather $6.3 million, so quite a substantial amount. The curfew is due to be eased to 9 p.m. come this Sunday.